Do you remember our first sentences in the proto-language? Pepperidge Farm remembers. If you want more references that'll take you back to the Stone Age, just stick around. I've been holding back, believe it or not. Someone comes up with a fake phrase that gradually it spreads throughout the world and everyone's convinced that it was always like that. Okie Donkey. YouTube. So great to see you again. We are about to work on Me, our tonal language, and we are going to write our first text in Me. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the text that we made for Proto-Socrate, which is a translation of the North Wind and the Sun fable, and we're going to put it into Me. So that's the plan. Let's get writing, shall we? Okie donkey. For one reason or another, I accidentally wrote Okie Donkey as Okie Donkey one time, and now my phone is convinced that Okie Donkey does not exist, and Okie Donkey is the actual phrase, and it's actually become the phrase in my mind. It's kind of that slight mistake has actually created the new phrase, and now I say Okie Donkey much more often than I say Okie Donkey. I have to remind myself not to say Okie Donkey to people who don't already know about this, which is why I'm telling you so that you know about this, so the next time I say Okie Donkey, it's not going to be a weird thing. Or it might still be a little weird, but at least you'll be clued in. Okay, so Me, we need to write a story in you, please. So let's go over to the Me tab. And it's kind of like a story by Borges, isn't it? Someone comes up with a fake phrase that, that they made up, and then gradually it spreads throughout the world and everyone's convinced that it was always like that. Okie donkey, you're welcome / I'm sorry. But do you remember our first sentences in the proto-language? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So the North Wind and the Sun. Here is our rather ugly, now properly formatted, although for some reason they put in borders. Okay. If you want more references that'll take you back to the Stone Age, just stick around. I've been holding back, believe it or not. All right. So we now need to take this Proto-Socrate story and turn it into Me. Turn it into Me. Alrighty. So let's go back to our lexicon tab and let's get started. So let's hide sasut so that we don't get distracted, and away we go. So we have, first of all, this proper name particle, and I don't think I've actually seen it in our little list, so maybe I've neglected to evolve it, but I think we have to do that. So let's go back to Lexergy. Excuse me 1 second, I'm going to show you something that's a little bit unphotogenic. And I'm going to do a live derivation. Always a danger. You can see a window into my workflow. So we have yo. So it's basically this. So we can start to Romanize. So yo. We may drop this article system. I'm not sure. But we'll keep it for now. The first pass of this text is going to be just running it through the sound change applier. And the second pass will change some of the grammar and vocabulary as well. Okay, so what do we have for North Wind? Pana. So this is going to be yo pian wind, and the north, which is tutan, which is going to turn into yo pian tan ma. What is ma going to become? Ma yo, and then re. Don't worry, I won't do the whole thing like this. We just have to get our feet wet. Re. La. Proto la, which is the past tense particle. Mi, la, la. Always. Wong. Continuous aspect markers. So this is going to turn into wong. And then the last word, giris, which means dispute. Okay, so here's what we have. Yo pian tan. Sorry, I need to scaffold my tones. Yo pian tan ma yo re la won ki. Yeah, we have to have someone who speaks a tonal language with greater facility than I on to pronounce this. But this is what it comes out as. Okay, so then the question is, I don't know what that was all about. The question is, well, as Moon Truther asks, is there any semantic drift yet? Yeah, we need to put in some semantic drift. We need to put in some semantic drift, but I also kind of feel like we should have some tone. Yeah, veggie. Took the words right out of my mouth. Quain, thank you. I do it. I do it for my public. What can I say? We need some tone sandhi. This is something that, this is something I want to put in. The question is, given that we have absolutely destroyed the contours, the contrasts in this language, we've gone from sesquisyllabic to monosyllabic. We've lost our codas. We've done all of these sorts of things. We're picking up some of that functional load with tone, but it might not be enough, and we may end up having extensive use of compounding, and that may help us. So instead of sun being re, we might have something like bright sun or white sun. So instead of just re being sun, it could be something like regun, which comes from sun white, but just means sun, something like that. And so in other languages, maybe the word for sun, this proto form re, continues as is, but in Myǐnh it's compounded. Something like that, I think I could see happening. Or something like north being tan, maybe it comes from, we have a word for, maybe there's a word for quarter, like a quarter of the world. And so all the direction names become compounded with that word meaning quarter. I don't think we have anything like that, so why don't we put it in maybe something like bikra means divide or part. And then we have something like patan as north. So I want to just make sure I'm remembering all of these decisions. So I'm just going to write them off to the side. And then what I think we could do is have some tone sandhi operate within these compounds. What I'd like to do is keep the rightmost tone and then lose distinctions on the tones to its left. And what we could do is, it depends on what kind of tone sandhi we want. We could just obliterate the tone altogether and then have it filled in with a default tone, maybe something dissimilation-y. So instead of being mid-high like we have for patan, it would go to low-high, so patan. So we lose tonal contrast on everything but the final syllable in a compound. And then we might have LL, so regun is LL. It might go to HL to dissimilate like that. MH goes to LH. So the idea is that whatever you have, you're going to have the opposite in all of the previous syllables of the compound. And so essentially what we're doing is we're just eliminating contrasts in the non-head syllable of the compound. That would be the idea there. And that would be a rather dramatic kind of effect, so that really tones only have, we have really word tones. Only the rightmost morpheme in a word is going to be the one that gives us the tone. And then what we could do, if it's a contour tone, is spread that out over the newly toneless syllables. So let's find one that has this. So let's take a word like, well, we have north. Do we have any other directions? South, that's not going to help us. I need a compound with strong. Okay, so for mind, we have this word, this xia. So mind is xia, and strong mind is something like, maybe we have a word like this, rin plus xia, and this would give us something like, okay, stop. Okay, so essentially we have LH plus LH. And what's the result? We lose the LH on the first syllable, and then we spread out the LH over the entire word like this. So rinxia, I think that could be a decent approach to take. So to write this up, let's write this up over here. Tone sandhi in compounds. Only the rightmost morpheme retains or rightmost morpheme syllable, same difference in this language, retains tone. So that's rule 1. Oh, yeah, you're right. Jack, thanks. Thanks for pointing that out. I got the tone wrong on ring. But interestingly, because it's the first, it doesn't even matter what it is. It has no effect on the output form. But it is good to get it right, so thank you, Jack. And so this is strong and mind, so this would be like something like mental strength, fortitude, something like that. Okay, so then the second rule is toneless syllables dissimulate from following level tone. So this is what we have so we have how do we, let's get to the mid-tone. I don't speak any language that has mid-tones, so I'm not sure what to do with them. Pa, tan, and what happens is that mid-tone drops out and gets filled in with this default dissimulated tone, which will be low. So pa, tan, and that would mean north. And then similarly, if you have a low tone in the rightmost syllable, then whatever the first syllable is, whatever the tone of the first syllable is, it will become high because we're dissimulating from a following. Okay, that's rule 2. Rule 3, contour tones spread. So the first, let's just say contour tone spread to toneless syllables. So the first tone of contour tones spread to toneless syllables, leaving the final syllable as a level tone. All right. So with this, we have a nice little tone sandhi system. I don't know how realistic it is. At first blush, it seems like something that could happen. I don't know. Tone experts in the chat, let me know what you think. But in this sense, we have essentially word level tone. Everything about the tone of a compound is determined by its final tone, or the tone of its final member. I hope I've explained that more or less correctly. Right. So then we've made a few words, patan, and then we can just avoid writing on on all of these pre-final syllables. So we have regun, meaning sun. It is anti-wu. Yeah, I dig that. Okay, let's do the next sentence. So we've already done a few of these words. Logan has an interesting thought here. If the tone contour splits across 2 syllables and then we get the dissimulation going on, yeah. I mean, that could definitely work as well. And it would fit, I think, in with with rule 2. First tone of the contour tone spreads to... Okay, so first tone of the contour tone, if we were to do it this way, spreads to preceding toneless syllable, leaving the final syllables a level tone, further toneless syllables. This is like 3B. Dissimulate. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Thank you, Logan. That's an interesting... Yeah, that's a nice system. If I do say so myself. All right, so then key. Let's see what else we have here. We have this locative, which is be. I also think that we could make these kind of proclitic-y things toneless. And so we would have something like yopian. Sorry, that's nasalization. Yopian. So essentially it would be acting like it would be within the bounds of tone sandhi. So let's write that in as a clitic, and we can just obliterate the tone markers on all of those. Yeah. I like that. Okay, so then what do we have? Something a lot easier for me to say. Yo pian patan mayore gun lawon ki. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna laugh at my tone pronunciations for a while I get used to this language. But that's fine. That's what we're here for, having a good time. So, beda. And let's keep going. So then we have a hungisun. This is it's kind of a, it's not a combo, it's a sort of a verb object idiom having power. I think we'll treat that as separate sandhi domains. So then we have hai hu. So we have ki beda hu. And then what do we have? Sngun is low. Nope. Incorrect. Wrong again, sir. Ki beda hu sngun. Yeah. We're kind of getting close to this, I don't know, DMZ, this liminal space between the stress and the tone worlds. The space where pitch accent dwells. All right. Que. And we'll say que is one of these proclitics. And then we have, so here we have a contour tone. So it would be que no, low high, rather than low rising, because the contour tone is stretching out over these two syllables. So as a result, this is what the actual tones look like. L, 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 H. What was this again? I can't see it. L, L, H. So ki beda hu snunque no. And then we have the copula, which we haven't evolved yet, so let's do that now. He is going to be high tone, and let's call this a proclitic as well. And then we need te medium. Oh, so the question is, what are we going to do when we have the midtone as the when we have the midtone? How are we going to dissimulate from that? How are we going to dissimulate from the midtone? I don't know. Ugh. Chat. How are we going to dissimulate from the midtone? It's either, I mean, is it either high or low? Is it arbitrary? Do we just make a choice? This is the gap in my experience. I don't know how these systems with midtones really work. Yeah, let's ponder that. Chat, if you have any suggestions, very curious. I'd be very curious to hear them. Because we have to figure out what to do. Mid, and then what's our WH word going to be? Men. Low is more common. I mean, low is more common in the language, for sure. Yeah, maybe we could say mid acts as low for the purpose of dissimulation. So this is another rule, so that we can at least have some more high in the language. So ki beda ahu sngun que no he te men. He te men. That's great. Oops. This desk is metal, and so all this that you're hearing is me injuring myself grievously. Alrighty. Okay, this is kind of cool. Let's do the same thing with this this first phrase, so we can see what the tones are like. So this is high, low, low, high, 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 low, high, high, low. So we have yo pion patan mayore gun lawon ki. I'm probably being overly sing-song, but I'm trying to make sure that the contrasts are there and they come through adequately over the stream. Okay, and I don't think I could do any better. I mean, that's the other reason. Okay, cool. This is neat. Let's see if we can do anything else with this. Nothing yet. We're going to have to do some semantic drift, but, well, why don't we do that? Let's take one of these words and drift it. So what are our lexical... So we've already played with north, we've already played with sun. Maybe we could do something with dispute. So maybe if we have a word like say, we could make it become sort of more of an angry saying. Yeah, so maybe hla becomes to argue. So our nice word to say or speak becomes to argue. Argue, strive, contend. And then in that case, we would change ki to hla. No, that was entirely the wrong, that was entirely the wrong place to do that. So hla, and then these tones would flip. I know, Quain, it's a bit sad that we've lost all of our contours. I mean, they will show up eventually. Ooh, 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 ooh. Moon Truther, you've come up with a good one. Let's see. Where's that B in time? So maybe this could be our copula. Maybe we'll lose this he, and we could wow, be in time. This could be a copula. So let's put that in. Mwaute. Mwautemen. Mwautemen. And so we'd have to change this key as well to hla. So hla beda husngun que no mwautemen. Mwautemen. Yeah, so the contours will stick around when we have a monosyllabic word, word for the purposes of sandhi, phonological word. Yeah, cool. Okay, I like this. This is kind of cool. I'm gonna scoot over and I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube for now. That ended up being kind of cool, YouTube. I don't know what you think. If you do think it was cool, let me know. Comments, right? The usual thing. If you don't think it was cool, same advice applies, really. I'm very curious to hear what you think about this one. But anyway, we will see you next time, where we'll probably do more of the same. Or maybe something different. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Okay, well, we'll see you then, at any rate.